What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. It got cold, but we're back on the mag. So we got this all slapped back together. I tightened up the 4 bolts on the bottom, snugged down the screws on the top plate with a drop of blue Loctite on here. Our mag now spins over. Let's see how I can do this with one hand. A little bit of resistance from the magnets themselves. There you guys on the tripod. It is spinning well. I did not replace the rotor. I should, 100%, I should be replacing this rotor, but she's spinning fine. Catches a little bit of drag on the magnets themselves, but I think this rotor being as scored and scratched as it is probably not helping the situation. But before I order a new rotor, because that's going to be a couple $100 just for that part, I want to verify that that was the problem. It was gritty. It did not turn very well, and every now and again, before I took this all apart and cleaned all the bearings and put it back together, you could rotate it over and it would spin fine 60% of the time, but every now and again it would bind up on a chunk of almost like chrome flaking that wedged in between the magnets. So we got that all cleaned up. If I wanted to dump a bunch of money, that's probably the first thing. If I had to pick one thing that was absolutely bad out of this mag, the rotor is in the worst shape of everything else. The bushings in the bottom are good. There's not a ton of gear slop here. We don't have a bunch of wiggle here or up top. But we also, I wanted to update some other stuff, so we got a new coil. So we're gonna do coil, new condenser, points are over here, clips are over there. So we'll swap out the points condenser, and then we have new copper core wires as well. So I gotta grab the crimpers from the shop because I forgot those. But we'll start putting the rest of this mag together. Start with that, I guess, and then bench test it. Should be able to get sparking by hand on the bench, so we'll see how that one goes. So let's get set up here. Magnetos on. Oh, where do we even begin? Where to begin? Alright, so the coil, there's a couple slots here and here, which will drop in. Which way do I want the wires? Go that way. So the coil is going to drop in right there. We'll run the wire out and over this way-ish, because it's going to link up to the points. And we have these little adjuster guys that just kind of hold it in place. So all these do is tighten down and pinch the coil in place. So there's the coil. And then, I guess we can drop the points on next. Where'd my E-clip go? Oh, it's out here. I just saw it. There it is. Okay. So then on to the actual points themselves. This rides on here. We'll drop that E-clip in first. Hopefully, without dropping it. Go. Now the points are kind of fixed. Then we got 2 screws on the points. This will come over and drop down like this. I'll get these started, but I'm not going to snug these ones down yet. Dropping the mag down here. I know you guys aren't going to have the best view of this, but the screw's kind of hard to get to. Let's see if that's enough to get it started. Thread it in. Alright, so the points are on, coil's on. This wire is going to come down and over. It's a little long. It's okay. I'll loop it back. Wedge the excess down somewhere in here. I don't know if I'm going to hook up the kill switch yet. I had a separate wire from here running out the hole here. That was the kill. But I don't really need that part yet. We got a standard condenser, standard brand condenser, which, I'll bring you guys over to this side. Ooh, field trip. Condenser's gonna go right in here. Did this come with the screw? No. Just swap the body. Lost the screw, or dropped the screw rather, not lost it, but didn't want to do that. Snug this guy down, or at least get him all started. Now, we have coil in. Wires are kind of looped here. Like I said, the kill switch wire came in through this hole before, and then he had some silicone all along the back side here. I don't know if we're going to be doing that. Points are in. Not at all adjusted, but you can see them opening on that would be the front cylinder right now. Really big gap. And closing. So now, we need to adjust the points, and then I think we should be able to set the gap first, and then I'll hook up the leads. Or maybe I'll wait to hook the leads up until they're back in the bike and we can do a continuity test to break points away right when they're supposed to when we time it. So I think I might just actually leave these two floating in here. Should be okay. Brand new coil, brand new condenser. Old points. I didn't want to replace the points because these are actually in really good shape. I have a set if I need to, but it just seemed redundant, and I've had really, really bad luck with the quality of parts these days. Like this coil, I think it's a sift-in, but I'm pretty sure it's just a Taiwan repop or whatever. Condenser, standard, at least it's a name brand-ish, but also made in Mexico. I don't know. Not the biggest purist. I like made in American things, but I've had blue streaks go out on me in a couple miles as well. Brand new stuff just didn't work. But we're opening, we're closing, and we're spinning. So roughly the mag is back together. I guess, yeah, maybe we'll just throw this back in the bike and then time it. Let's hook the wires up and maybe bench test it first. Okay, points gap. That's what we're gonna mess with now. So we'll bring this over. I got this queued up for 15 thou, so we're definitely on the big side. There we go. A little bit of drag, but not crazy tight. When this was all working, it was at 12 thou. So let me know what you guys run your mags at, but here's 15. So I think we should be good on that front now that it's set up. There's a 12 thou just for reference. 12 goes nice in. No tension whatsoever. So 15 is good. Worst case, I mean it's not loose, but it's not tight. Might be a little bit closer to 14 thou, but feels good there. Rotate it over. Let's see what the rear one looks like just for giggles. Still at 15 again. So there we go. Now we have points gapped, new condenser in, new coil in. If we hook these wires up, in theory, wires and cap, in theory we should be able to check this for spark, so maybe we'll try that. Alright, coil wires on, condensers on. The only other wire we had on this before was the kill switch, which we don't need for this test. And when I go to time this on the bike, I usually disconnect the condenser and the coil anyway, just to verify strict point contact opening and closing. So condenser wire I got coming up here through the back body, coming up from the bottom. Hot lead from the coil, or the spark lead from the coil, is coming over and across. And if we give it a spin, points open, points closed. Open, closed, open, closed. So in theory we should be good. Let's throw a cap on and see if we can get some sparks out of this wire setup. Like I said, didn't bring the crimpers back for this, so we're gonna use the old ones for now. I know they are still sparking, just from messing with that last time. And then I will leave the coil and old condenser in the box, since they were, in theory, somewhat working. But let's throw the cap on. I'll come back once that's hooked up. These springs in this cap definitely have a lot more tension than the old one did. So hopefully that might help too. Now we get to find out if I'm gonna shock myself. Shocks would be good, right? Means it's sparking. Okay. Let's grab some spark plug wires.